Hello my friends, new video today. This time we're going to have a look into Illuvium once again, and we're going to unveil the truth behind Illuvium Revdis and what is actually in it for the players and the investors, and if it's actually going to be worth as much as people claim it to be. Well, I've made several updates on Illuvium itself. If you would like to hear my opinion on the token, its tokenomics, and how it's going to develop, just check out my former videos. I'm surely going to cover it in the future as well, but I do feel they are still pretty much my own opinion, and it's just been a couple days, so just check out those. Anyway, Illuvium Revdis or Illuvium Revenue Distribution, however you would like to fancy it. Either way, it just means that Illuvium, or to be calling it more precise, all the people who buy into Illuvium by owning said token are going to be eligible by staking their token and will be gaining a certain amount of revenue distribution through the Illuvium vault, which is going to be purchasing Illuvium via the Ethereum fees that are made by, for example, in-game fees, by in-game traveling, by fees through crypto transactions within this entire metaverse, and or by selling your stuff, for example. So all these things are going to be revenue streams for the game, and all these things are going to be a major thing when it comes to the Illuvium metaverse and how it's going to evolve around the revenue distribution. There's also revenue distribution for land, but this is not going to be the main part of this video. This is mainly about the Illuvium token. So what exactly is so interesting about revenue distributions? Well, first of all, what's interesting is that the vast majority of the revenue is going to be distributed through this system. And next, it's going to be that just by staking your ILV token, you're going to be receiving more ILV token in the form of revenue distribution. So what this means is that just by having, let's say, 10 ILV staked, you'll receive X amount of dollars worth of ILV every single day, or every single time it's being distributed, to make it more clear. And every single time that happens, you'll be essentially gaining a fraction of ILV, and that's just going to increase your stake and increase your earnings, basically, or the money that you've made with ILV. So what's good and what's bad about this? Well, the good part naturally is that you'll be gaining money. The bad part is that it's going to be an ILV. Well, it's not exactly a bad part, but that also means that there are going to be people who, in order to make money, are going to sell said ILV token, which is basically just going to balance out the previously bought ILV token through the stream of revenue. Well, fair enough though. I think the majority of people who are going to be earning ILV through this method, through this revenue distribution, are just going to take that ILV and stake it instead of selling it. I don't think that the majority of people will just sell out everything right away. It's possible, it could be happening, but I just don't quite think that that's going to be something to be expected. Anyway, let's just quickly get into the calculations and my personal thoughts on this. So, I've prepared a small Excel sheet beforehand just to make this a little bit more clear. Well, in total, there's like a maximum amount of 10 million ILV token. The problem with this revenue distribution is that you can lock your token for a longer period of time and then gain a bigger weight with the token. So, for example, let's say there's 10 million token, but everyone is locking them for an entire year and gets like twice the weight in terms of token, then it's just going to double, and it's like if there's like 20 million token. It's not really that important, but just for you to know, that you shouldn't quite focus on the token amount that I'm going to be naming in here. So I'll just say that it's 10 million. You can just take your own numbers and then do the math yourself. So you guys gave me 20 million comments on do the math, do the math. The revenue is easily in the billions. And I did my research on this. I've watched several YouTube videos regarding the revenue distribution in terms of Illuvium and what they think to be a good valuation. And I found that actually nobody knows anything. Well, that's a joke, of course. Obviously, everyone has their own foothold for said valuation. However, if you just scroll through Discord, you have people saying Illuvium is easily going to make 10 billion revenue per year. And you also will have to see the bearish side where people say 10 billion, no way, at most they'll make 500 million. And you can't really give too much on this opinion. So this is, I believe, one of the calculations done by Scoriox saying, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, saying that it's going to make about 5 billion, and he's pretty much taking into consideration Illuvitas, the sales, merchandise, in-game fees, fees on the marketplace, etc., etc. So I do believe that he took quite the thought and took a lot of it into it. However, personally, I don't quite think that to be the case. Let's just say that this is some sort of bull case scenario where you could expect 5 billion revenue per year, and you'll be getting a monthly or a daily Revdis of like $1 to $2 basically, and get a monthly of 30 to 60. So that is possible, but I do believe this is more of a bull case scenario, because I do believe that people are going to be spent quite a bit of money on Illuvium. However, we should always stay somewhat objective to it. We are a very selective group of people, meaning the people who watch this video right now, they may be investors, or they may be people who spend quite a lot on games or things in general, just by having a huge income, for example. However, if we were to take a 5 billion revenue, then it may be a bit spaced out compared to the people and the players that are going to be spending that amount. Let's just enter some player numbers maybe to make this a bit more realistic. Let's just say we have like 1 million players. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. Let me just recheck if I did this right. No, not this, like this. Okay, perfect. So 1 million players spent per player. Let's make this a little bigger. So that would mean that this is pretty much what each player would have to spend daily on average, considering all the market fees, all the purchases, all the revenue. Well, not exactly even the amount of money spent, but like the fees basically, since there's always going to be a part that's not fees, but like maybe just trading and stuff like that. So that's not even the amount of money that needs to be swapped. That's going to be a lot more. But the money that's actually taken as revenue. And this could very well be the case, considering there are many people like us, quote unquote, that are going to be spending a huge amount of money, that may pay $20 every single day to play, to do certain tasks and stuff like that. However, this may not exactly be that precise when it comes to people playing the game. So that's why I feel I'm just going to switch up the numbers. Maybe just take this as like some sort of bull case scenario when there's like many people buying into the game, holding onto their Illuvium token. And fair enough, I have to admit as well, when you're a player and you own like 10 Illuvium token, then of course you may spend $14 per day to play and to earn NFTs and have fun, etc., etc. However, you will also earn 10 times this amount per day and will get that back, right? So, wait, let me just ref this total. Maybe that's a bit easier. Wait, I'll just copy this, honestly. Not gonna put in the effort. Let's just say got like 10. As I said, I'll just totally ignore token weight and token considerate. I'll just take the maximum amount, and if you do the maximum weight, then you'll always be better off than this calculation, basically. This is not going to be one of those moonshots where I say, okay, you'll get $10 billion every single day, you will retire at the age of 30, and you just have to start getting into it at 29, and you'll be set for life. It's not going to be one of those things, so just so you know. That's not going to be it for me. What's this? Yeah, like that. Hopefully that works. Excel skills have been pretty much deteriorated for me. So this would be some sort of bullish scenario based on people who advertise the game and or have made their calculations. This is, I feel, a number that is widely believed, at least it used to be in the bull market. And I personally, I like to look back at bull market numbers when we are not in a bull market right now, since we're right now in a bear market. So that makes it usually a bit more easy to objectively speak about set numbers and think if this is really something that's obvious or not. So this could be the case, but I personally, I would just look a bit more conservative into it and think, okay, what's a bit more precise for people to actually pay on average. On average, I have to say this is an average number. There will be people who spend far more than this. There will be people who spend hundreds of dollars per day. Since they can simply afford it, you will always have people who just so well off that they just want to have fun, just want to have fun playing, and are just going to get the best Illuvials and use them in the arena to fight and have fun and mess around with, basically, right? So that's always going to be a thing. This is just a merely average estimation. And there's also going to be the side of players who are just going to be completely free to play, just with Skolas and Axie Infinity, and they will not be really spending anything. So we're going to play around with the numbers very, very soon. So let me just swap this up. Let's just say the yearly revenue isn't really going to be 5.2 billion, but let's just say it's a bit lower. Let's just call it, I don't know, 2 billion actually. 2 billion. So 2 billion. Like this maybe. So then we have pretty much a flat 2 billion amount. I think this is a lot more reasonable. Then you have an average spend of $6. And of course, the Revdis is going to be going down just the same amount. Personally, why do I think we should always take into consideration more numbers than just one? Well, for me personally, especially with crypto, and that's also what we've seen in Axie Infinity, when you just take a look at the numbers. For example, I just have had a look at the nice TechCrunch article. They pretty much spoke about the Axie Infinity earnings, fees, etc. And at its peak, I just marked the sentence, the fully diluted market capitalization was 16.7 billion, blah, blah, blah. From the market cap, from its apex, it has fallen about 19.76% to 13.4 billion, and its total revenue has also fallen about 99% to 2.5 million in April 2022. So the problem with crypto gaming is that crypto isn't exactly the most stable form, and when we do stuff like this, we usually try to put stable numbers into a project that just isn't stable at all. So the problem with this is that there won't be people who set a limit. That's why I've made this simple calculator. There won't be people who say, okay, I got $5 every single day, and I'm just going to spend $5 every single day. That's not really a realistic scenario. We try to make this into calculations and say, okay, we'll have $5 here, and then this 50 cents that I get every single day, and I have 10 token, so I get $5 every day, and in a year that's 2,000. The problem is that we make these calculations based off on our expectations when it comes to revenue streams, and we usually make these as a stable number. So the problem is, in reality, it's usually very much swinging around. So we have like months where there's a huge hype, and I expect when Illuvium is going to release, there's going to be much more than just 170 million spent in the very first month. I think it's going to be so much more. It may be like 500, 600, or even 1 billion spent in the entire first month. That's totally possible. And maybe the token price will skyrocket just as much because people think, okay, I've got to invest now, because they'll think, okay, this 1 month we had 1 billion, so per year that's 12 billion, right? And they'll think, okay, 12 billion, when I got the 12 billion in revenue, that's like a yearly revenue of $1,200, so the token should be at least $1,200, right? And then they'll buy this much, just to be disappointed very soon, because in gaming, what's very common to see is that usually projects or games are hyped for a set amount of time. Then there are many people coming in, many people playing, maybe many people talking about it. And then just like with Axie Infinity and other games, I mean, this is a bit different, of course, due to the deterioration of prices, bear market, etc., blah, blah, blah. But what we see is that when these earnings dwindle due to a dwindling player base, it's basically setting something loose, and that's what's just going to increase set effect, and it's just going to set off a spiral that's going to be continuously decreasing everything, and lets markets crash, right? So once people see, oh, first month was 1 billion, oh, next month was maybe just 500 million, and then you don't have the 6 billion, but you just have 6 billion instead of the 12 billion per year, right? So people will calculate again and think, oh, okay, how much can I make? And then maybe the hype will go away, or people will just buy less overall, or maybe will be more careful, spend less, and when they spend less, then it's just going to be the first thing again. So that's the kind of the problem when doing mathematics like this. So always take things like this with a grain of salt. Like, you can do these for fun, just saying, oh, what if we make 2 billion per year? What if we make 5 billion per year? Maybe we just do 2 or 1 billion per year. You can do that for sure, right? You can even say, okay, what if it's just very conservative, 500 million per year? That's totally up to you, right? Like, let's say it's really just going to be 500 million per the entire first year, and maybe we just have like a great start, but then it's just going to be better and better without the super mega hype, where just everyone is going to be talking about ILV, and then no one is going to be talking about it. So that's possible, right? But personally, just make sure to set up your mind, think about the project, think about whether you think this is going to be worth the invest, and if you do, just make sure to set up a good investment strategy, and then once you have that investment strategy set up, just stick to it. Don't base your whole strategy based on calculations that you've made, right? Like, make sure to set up your mind at a given time, maybe in the very beginning of investing into the project, and then just stick to it. Just maybe you have the DCA strategy where you say, okay, I've got $500 every single month that I really want to invest into this project, and you do this and you stick to it. Then you're just going to do this for the entire of the time. No matter if you think it's 100 million, 10 billion, 50 billion, or I don't know, 5 trillion, right? So either way, just do what you would like to do, and it's going to be worth the while. So That's my personal take on this. And revenue distribution, it's not going to be the thing for you if you are really that much into it, right? Like, this is actually a thing that the less you think about it, the more you're going to be profiting off of it. Because the more you set your mind on a high revenue distribution or on a high amount, or you've set your numbers high and you really want it to be this way, then the more you're going to be disappointed and the more you'll be feeling cheated out of the system, right? So beforehand, make sure to set up your mind, stick to it, and then take it either way, right? That's my personal take on it. We will probably seeing lower token prices at some point, but we'll also be seeing higher token prices at some point, right? Like, it's very unlikely that the current price is both the highest and the lowest that we'll ever see. This is not going to be going into a stable coin, and it's very likely that there's going to be a time where we'll see higher prices than we have right now, but it's also likely that we're going to see lower lows than we're seeing right now. Either way, it's perfectly possible. Usually time in the market pretty much always beats timing the market, because no one has a glass ball lying around telling you exactly how much to invest or how much to invest at what a given time. Naturally, there are certain risks involved. The game could totally flop. The unlocks could certainly destroy the entire buy pressure by a huge sell pressure. However, all these factors that are having a certain percentage of affecting the project, and they don't exactly have to have set effect to such a degree that you think it may do. So personally, I just made up my mind. It doesn't really matter to me how much revenue the game throws off. To me, it's much more important that it happens, and that you personally, or I personally, I can play the game just by having a couple tokens staked, and by using that as a fuel basically to play the game itself. So I personally, I'm very happy to see that by encouraging other people to play, or by playing yourself, you'll basically increase the token price too. So that's my personal take on that. Anyway, guys, I didn't want to really want to make this video so long. As always, this is of course no financial advice. Always do your own research. I can't guarantee any of these numbers. It could be, as I said before, that we might just make $10 per day for the entire project. That's also possible, right? So either way, don't give too much about numbers like these. Don't get false hope when setting up your personal calculator and think, okay, we'll be making 10 billion when I get 10,000 token or something, right? So stay cool, stay relaxed. We're currently in a bear market, so naturally the token price is going to be falling, or maybe falling, to be put it into better words. It doesn't have to. So just stay relaxed, buy your stake, and stake it, or keep it in a safe place, and then you'll most likely be happier in the long run. That's it going to be for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's as always discuss in the comments. Thank you for watching.